Okay, welcome back to another episode of Man Cave Meals. Today is Wednesday, April the 18th. We're going to make some smoked chili on the grill today. While we're getting our grill ready, I'll show you the ingredients. We've got 2 pounds of cubed chuck roast with most of the fatty pieces cut out. We've got a can of black beans and a can of kidney beans, drained and rinsed. 1 large chopped onion, 1 can of stewed tomatoes, and I've got some garlic and some salt, some ground cumin, some chili powder, and some oregano. And if you'll check the description on this video, I'll have the whole recipe included. I've got a bottle of Sierra Nevada Torpedo ready to go here also, and a little olive oil, and back here hiding in the back is a little bit of chipotle powder. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Dutch oven to sear this meat and get things started. While I've got my charcoal heating up, we'll get that ready and we'll be back momentarily. Okay, we've arranged some hot charcoal briquettes right here on our searing rack. And now we're going to put the grill grate back on. And then we're going to set our Dutch oven right on top of those charcoals and let that guy get good and hot. Then when it gets good and hot, we're going to add a little oil to it and start to sear our meat and start to cook. So we'll be back momentarily. Okay, our Dutch oven is heated up nicely. So we're going to put a little olive oil in here. Maybe just a little more. And then we're going to add our meat. And our onions. And our garlic. We're going to stir that up real good. Let it simmer. Lightly brown this meat. And while this is browning, we'll shut the camera down and we'll be back momentarily. Okay, it's starting to get there. We're just a few minutes in. That meat's starting to brown up a little bit. The onions and garlic are cooking right along with it. So we'll keep on going and be back shortly. Okay, now our meat is almost cooked, or almost browned up to where we want it. So we are going to make a few change-ups right here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the Dutch oven off and set it aside. And then we're going to light up the rest of the grill. We're going to remove the charcoal, or we're going to remove the cooking grate. Then we are going to move our searing basket off and lift up our diffuser grate and just dump this charcoal right onto our lump down on the bottom and get rid of the searing grate. We won't be using it anymore. And then we're going to toss a nice chunk of hickory right on there to create some smoke. We're going to replace our diffuser rack, and we're going to set a half pizza pan on here because we're going to do some indirect cooking shortly. Now we will set our charcoal set our cooking grate back up on here. Put our Dutch oven back over direct heat. And now we are going to add our tomatoes, a little salt. I use sea salt, our oregano, our cumin, and our chili powder, a little chipotle powder, and a bottle of beer. Now we are going to stir that up, mix that up real good. We're going to let that meat and the onions and everything braise in that beer. We're going to bring it up to a simmer before we go any further with it. So we will be back. We're almost up to a simmer. I went ahead and put my lid in here to preheat the lid a little bit. We're going to give this just a few more minutes to come up to a low boil, and then we'll be back ready for the next step. It smells delicious. Okay, we have a nice simmer going on here, a little bit of a nice little boil. So we're going to stir this guy up one more time. And then we're going to add our beans. I have some black beans and dark red kidney beans. They've both been drained and rinsed. We're going to stir those in. I know all you Texas people are going to love that, but I just happen to like beans in my chili. So what we do next is we put the lid on and move this guy over to the indirect side, where we will let it simmer covered for about an hour. So we'll be back at that point, and for those of you who are interested in temperatures, I'm probably going to be simmering this at around 275 to 300 covered, and I'll be stirring it once about every 15 minutes during that process. We'll come back and look at it in about a half an hour. Okay, we're about 30 minutes in, so we're gonna pop the lid, give this guy a stir. Man, that's smelling delicious. I wish YouTube could provide that smell. That's absolutely awesome. Now we're going to cover it right back up. Go for another 30 minutes. And then we'll be back for the final stage of this cook. Okay, we've been simmering for about an hour, so it's time to take the lid off. We're going to set that aside. We're going to give this guy a stir. So the final part of this cook, we're going to cook it uncovered, let it thicken up a little bit, and let some of our good smoke get to it. I just put another chunk of cherry down in there to let it get going. So we're going to move. I'm actually going to rotate the cooker a little bit, move it back over a little closer to the middle. So we're gonna let that simmer uncovered for a while and see where we go from there. We're gonna let it thicken up, let it take on some smoke. So we'll be back. Okay, we're gonna stir this up a little bit while she thickens up. It's starting to thicken up nicely. Still needs to go a little bit more, but stirring it every 10 or 15 minutes a little bit while we've got that smoke going is going to help that smoky flavor get right in here. So we're going to let it cook probably another, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or so uncovered. So we'll be back. Our chili's almost ready. We're going to give it another stir. I'd say we're just about done. Man, that looks delicious. Smells good. We're gonna taste a little piece of that beef. And it's nice and tender with a great flavor. I'm gonna let it go maybe 5 more minutes and then it'll be just perfect. Okay folks, this is ready. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put the lid back on it and we're gonna take it off the grill and let it sit for 15 or 20 minutes before we do anything with it. Let it cool just a little. That cast iron Dutch oven will hold heat for a really long time. I'm going to serve that with a garnish of sharp cheddar cheese on top. We'll have a photograph to go along with that. So that is how I cook chili on the Kamado. Now all we're going to do is just shut the grill down. We'll shut all the air vents off and choke out the fire and go have a bowl of chili for dinner. Till next time.